So many foreigners actually drive without a license here, but the consequence for that is actually more severe than we think, because usually we pay a fine, but the consequence could actually be imprisonment depending on the situation. So I decided to get my license for a motorbike. So I'm going to tell you about my experiences about what I did to get a license for a motorbike. And I'm also going to give you advice if you want to do so yourself on how to do that or how to prepare for it in any way. So in terms of getting ready for it, document-wise, it's a little more complicated. You do need your passport, you do need your work permit, and you need a certificate of residency. You also need a medical certificate stating that you don't have certain diseases that will cause you to drive improperly. Now, the next thing to talk about is that I actually went to a driver's school. I did go to a government-sanctioned testing spot. It is cheaper at the government place. However, it's apparently much more strict. While it's slightly more expensive with the school, slightly more, but it's much more laid back. Alright, so I just woke up at like 5 a.m. to get ready to go to my new driving class. I am still tired. Ugh. Yeah, I'm just waiting here now. I think I woke up a little too early. So what I did is I paid 1,500 baht for a class that was supposed to be taught in English. It was 1,000 baht to be taught in Thai. What I took was a 15-hour course, which was 2 days. Okay, I think 8 one day and 7 the next. When I arrived, we started out with a very long video about driving. Now, remember, I signed up for a motorbike license, right? Well, this was for everything. So this is for trucks, this is for cars, motorbikes. This is just the rules of law here, okay? Now, one thing you're gonna notice is that when you start taking these classes, there's a huge difference between what the law is and what Thai people are actually doing. So follow the books, but understand what's going on the road is a bit, if not way different. We eventually stopped and we listened to a woman who gave us a quick lecture on everything, and she only did it in Thai. After that, we stopped for lunch, sort of. As we were eating lunch, the next video went on and started playing, and again was English subtitles. Same stuff. It was not really about motorbikes as it was about, rules of the road for a car. Right after that last video was when we had our first practice test. This one we had to look at the projector and answer the questions on a sheet of paper. Two problems. One, because I was an English learner, she actually did give me the sheet. I just did it on a separate sheet of paper, which I wrote it right here. The other thing too is since it was all in Thai, I figured out that when I tried it by myself, I did terribly. So I really do suggest that even if you know Thai, I really do suggest that you try to learn it in English, because I'm pretty good at Thai. I can speak pretty fluently, I can read, I can write. Then we went downstairs to the second floor. So this was on the third floor, we went down to the second floor and started doing a online practice test. There was 50 questions and we had to do it multiple times. Even if we passed, we still did it again. So going through the tests and going through the practice tests, here's some things you need to know. One, if you're taking the English course and they give you an English book, also ask for the Thai book, especially if you know Thai, because it might be very helpful. Because in the English book, that's this one right here, it only shows you the signs, not the other questions which are on the test. Here's the Thai one, all right? So just to be clear, so it also has the signs right here that you need to learn. And again, these are pretty easy. But then it has all these other questions, and they start talking about what happens if you have a certain disease, what happens if your license is expired for a certain amount of time, what's the tax on it, and also the different rules of the road. Before you start freaking out, it's actually not that hard. Once you use the program to switch it to English, 90% of those questions are common sense questions. In fact, what you'll figure out is that most of the Thai rules are almost exactly the same as what you would see in many other countries. Just common sense things, common courtesy things that you don't see outside, but you would see in the rule of law. So that being said, my next suggestion is with the practice test. Every question you get wrong is showed at the very last screen with the correct answer and the answer that you got wrong and the question that you used. So this is where you need to probably take notes or try to remember what the actual answer is. Because some of the questions are, common sense questions, but other ones are rules that are particularly end up having to do with right here. The only ones I always end up messing up was the questions about car repair. Here's what I usually do. Basically what I do is if my car is broken down, I pay somebody to fix it. The last thing you should know is that when you actually take the test itself, you have to get 45 points out of 50. There's no 70% or or like a C for passing kind of thing. It's 45, like a solid A or higher, essentially. That brings us to the second day. So they brought us back, and I had to come back in the morning, and then they took us back again, which now I had to watch another video, but this one was specifically on motorbikes and the how to drive one. When that video was done, we went downstairs and did some more practice testing until they took us to the track, or essentially where we would be practicing driving our motorbikes. We actually didn't practice anything. The gentleman explained what we were going to do for the test, and then we took the test. I drove once and I passed. The test is actually almost like an obstacle course, not too much. I mean, basically you just you just make a few turns, stop at the right place, make sure you look like you're actually looking around your surroundings, showing that you understand that concept. And then you have to go around some cones in a specific way. And then the last one is the hardest part, which is again, not that hard, but you have to go across a little bit of a beam so you can work on your balance on a motorbike. If you're able to do that, you pass. Admittedly, there was a kid who he had like multiple tries and he kept like falling off that little beam. It was like a cement beam and he just kept every time. They even let him change the motorbike and that still didn't work out. Then we come back and then it comes to the last part of the test, which is the computer test, but we only get to take it once, and if we fail, you fail. I got 48 out of 50. I think one was a stupid sign that like I knew it, but then I probably clicked the wrong one because I'm an idiot. And the other one was about something along the lines of like, if you don't pay a ticket over a certain amount of time, it was just something like that. And that's it, I passed. And now basically I get to have my motorbike, or not my motorbike, I get to have a license to drive it. Well, almost. Okay, so here's what happened. I ended up planning on going to the DMV, or the equivalent of the Thai DMV at this point, to turn in all my paperwork, saying that I passed the test, saying that I'm a resident here and all this other stuff. Problem is, COVID got worse and now I can't get my license at this point. But that being said, I have everything done to get that license. I would have loved to have at the end of the video me showing up my license right in your face and just being like, hey, I got it. But that's not what ended up working out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this will help those in the future actually get their license without any problems with COVID-19 or any other future disaster that might occur. So good luck to you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you really enjoyed this, okay? Goodbye everyone. Sweaty God.